Good morning, children.
Good morning, ma'am.
We were learning about animal kingdom and quite a few animal phyla we had already completed. Hope you are remembering where we stopped last class. Which phylum? Steffi, which phylum we stopped in our last class?
Arthropoda.
Oh God. Okay, you're remembering. Arthropoda. Okay, so anyway, since we couldn't complete the whole phylum, we'll start with Arthropoda. Okay. But at least some features you might be remembering, no? What all things we learned about arthropoda. The most unique feature about arthropoda, who will tell me? Michael, the most important feature about arthropoda.
Have jointed legs.
They have jointed legs. Gayatri, any other point?
Head, thorax, and
Not clear, child.
they have a head, thorax, and an abdomen.
Body is divided into head, thorax, and abdomen, and this is the largest phylum. Among all the other animal phyla, this is the largest phylum. Anyway, we'll continue with Arthropoda. Can you see the screen? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Arthropoda, we are going to start again. Arthro means jointed and poda means appendages or legs. So, one by one, we will see the different points about this particular phylum. The first point, this is the largest phylum in Animalia. Under animal kingdom, this forms the largest phylum and majority of the members are insects. So majority of the members are mainly they consist of insects, not only insects, spiders, prawns, butterflies, then centipede, millipede, all that comes under or all those organisms are coming under this particular phylum. So once again, this is the largest phylum in Animalia and consists mainly of insects. And over 2/3 of the known species belong to Arthropoda. That is why this is considered as the largest phylum. 2/3 of the known species of plants and species of animals come under this particular phylum and hence it is considered as the largest phylum. Coming to the symmetry, they are bilaterally symmetrical. You know the definition for bilateral symmetry. The organism can be divided into similar identical right and left halves by cutting it along a single plane passing through the median longitudinal axis. They are triploblastic, means made up of 3 germ layers. Then coelomate, they have 2 body cavity and the level of organization is organ system level. All these we had been learning in the previous phyla also. Then body is covered by an exoskeleton. So the difference what we have is endoskeleton because the skeleton made up of bones is inside your body. But in insects, they have an exoskeleton found outside their body and it is made of a substance known as chitin. And hence we call it as chitinous exoskeleton. That is why like cockroach or I don't know whether you have touched a cockroach, you can find that it's like stiff, some plates are there which makes up its body and that is made up of a substance, a hard substance known as chitin. And the body is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. You can see 3 main parts. In the picture also it is clear. A head. This is a typical one. One example is shown. So all the organisms you can find a head and the thoracic region and the abdominal region. And they are provided with jointed appendages as you can see in the figure. So many segments, the legs are provided with their appendages or the locomotory structures are provided with so many segments and you can see they all are joined together. Okay, so that is one of the unique feature of arthropoda. So once again, I'll summarize all the points. So this forms the largest phylum, and mainly it is made up of, consists of insects. Then I told you that 2/3 of the known species, there are many species not described so far. And out of the known species, the scientists have described and they have identified many species. So out of that, 2/3 come under this particular phylum. And symmetry is bilateral. They are triploblastic, coelomate, and they have organ system level of organization. Another feature is that the body is covered by an exoskeleton made of a substance known as chitin. You call it as chitin. Since it is made of chitin, you call it as chitinous exoskeleton. And the body can be divided into 3 parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. Then the most important feature from where it got the name is that it is having jointed appendages. The segments of legs or the limbs are joined together. Okay, any doubt? Children, do you have any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So shall I proceed to the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Just 1 minute. Now moving on to the next slide. Circulatory system. Already we learned that they are having organ system level of organization. Different organ systems are present. Circulatory system, respiratory system. So different organ systems are there, and the circulatory system is open. Open circulatory system means the heart will pump the blood and there are no definite blood vessels to carry this blood. Instead, the entire organs present in its body will be bathed in blood. So such a circulatory system is known as open circulatory system. And excretory organs, as you can see in the figure, so many thread-like structures. These are known as Malpighian tubules, not Malpighian, Malpighian, P-I-G-H-I-A-N, Malpighian tubules. And Malpighian tubules carry out excretion. Then sensory organs. Coming to the sensory organ. Yes, Nevin? Please mute your microphone, children. Sharon, is that you? Sensory organs include eyes. Eyes can be compound or simple. Compound eyes means it has got so many units, thousands of simpler units joined together and they form compound eyes. Like in the case of insects, insects are provided with compound eyes. And then they have antenna, plural is antennae. They act as feelers. They help them to sense the surroundings. Okay, so antennae, then eyes, and also statocysts. Statocysts are organs which help them to balance. I've shown the picture of a statocyst. These organs will help them to balance their body, especially once they move during movement, and otherwise also their body is maintained. The balance of the body is maintained with the help of specialized organs known as statocysts. Then coming to reproduction, mostly they are dioecious. Dioecious means sexes will be separate, different organism, male and female are separate. And fertilization takes place within the body of the female. Then development can be direct or indirect. In some organisms, a larval stage is involved, then you call it as indirect development. But in some of the organisms, there is no larval stage involved, then you call it as indirect. Am I going fast, children? Can you tell me?
Can you show the previous slide?
Yes. You want me to repeat the points? Circulatory system is open. Excretion is by means of Malpighian tubules. And the sensory organs include eyes, antennae, and statocyst. Statocyst helps them to helps them to balance their body. Reproduction, points coming under reproduction are sexes are separate, internal fertilization, development can be either direct or indirect. Then coming to the examples of arthropods, honeybee, Apis mellifera, class 9 I think you've learned, silkworm, Bombyx mori we say, then lac insect, all these are economically important. Honeybee, you know, we get beeswax and also honey from it, which is having so many medicinal properties and several other, because we are using it as a, what to say, for burns, then as a, helps in digestion, then for the preparation of different dishes. For all that we use honey, then beeswax for preparing candles, varnishes, cosmetics, etc. Then silkworm to produce silk. The lac insect also produces a substance known as lac that is also used for preparing varnishes, candles, and so many other substances. So they are considered to be economically important. So what I need to say is that so many economically important arthropods or organisms come under arthropoda. Then some vectors also come under this category. Vectors means these are carriers of diseases. Anopheles, Culex, Aedes mosquito. Anopheles spreads which disease? Huh? Nobody knows. Anopheles. It causes which disease? Or it spreads which disease? Malaria. Then Culex, filariasis, Aedes, dengue fever. So many diseases are spread by these insects. Then locust. It's a gregarious pest. Gregarious means a social insect. It means they always live in groups or move in groups. Recently, you might have read in news in the last few months, you might have heard about the attack of these locusts. They come in swarms and they cause so much damage to the crops. In many places, if you check your Google or somewhere, you just find out the locust attack in India, then you will get sufficient information in some of the northern states like Rajasthan. I think even in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, many places, this locust attack was there. They come in groups and they feed on different plant parts and they destroy the crop fields, and it can lead to famines. The farmer can land up in crop failure. It's a gregarious pest. Gregarious means which live in groups, or always they move in groups. Then living fossil, known as king crab or limulus, it is known as living fossil. That also comes under this particular phylum. And the picture of limulus I'll show you. Why we call it as a living fossil is, usually we say some remnants of something which existed in the past is fossils. But we call it as a living fossil because over the years, maybe for millions of years, it had been existing just like that without much changes. So without undergoing much changes, they have been existing since years, millions of years. That is why we call them as living fossil. So these are some of the examples of arthropods. Honeybee, silkworm, lac insect, all are economically important. Anopheles, Culex, and Aedes are vectors. The locust is a gregarious pest. Limulus, or other name is king crab because of its big size. We call it as a living fossil. Have you understood? Points one by one we can summarize. Shall we summarize the points one by one? Who will start? We'll start with Gayatri. From that side we'll start. Okay, start.
Largest phylum.
Largest phylum consists mainly of,
2/3 of the species.
mainly they consist of what?
Insect.
Insects. Rijas, next point.
They have head, thorax, and abdomen.
Now without looking.
They have head, thorax, and abdomen.
Body is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. Lydia, next point. Lydia,
Bilaterally symmetrical.
can't hear child, a little louder.
Bilaterally symmetrical.
Bilaterally symmetrical. Okay, Vidur.
The triploblastic telomate
Ah,
with organ system level of
okay,
organization.
good. Then, next point, Nevin.
Counter chitinous coat.
I didn't get it. What was that? Pardon?
Chitin. They have exoskeleton.
Yes, they have an exoskeleton made of chitin. Then, next, Donna.
They have joint appendages.
They have got jointed appendages. Steffi. Steffi.
System is open.
Circulatory system is open. What is open circulatory system, Steffi?
When the blood is pumped up to the heart, the organs and tissues are bathed in liquid.
What is absent over there?
Capillaries, vessels.
Definite blood vessels are absent. Okay, Anna, next point. Anna.
Ma'am, they are excretory.
Pardon?
Again, tubules.
Once again.
They have excretory organs known as malpighian.
Yes. Excretory organs are Malpighian tubules. Punya.
They have gills, book gills, tracheal system, and book lungs.
So different type of respiratory organs are present, like gills, book lungs. Then what else you said? Tracheal system, etc. Then Evelyn.
They have sensory organs like eyes, angina, and statocytes.
Statocyst. Okay. Then next point. Anthony.
Mostly
A little louder. Repeat. I'm waiting for your answer.
mostly dioecious.
Okay. Dioecious means what, Anthony? What do you mean by dioecious?
Two
Sexes are?
separated.
Sexes are separate. Means male and female organisms are there. Then, Nia? Once again.
Internal fertilization.
Internal fertilization. Next point, Meenakshi. Meenakshi. Nandana.
They have direct or indirect.
What is the difference between both direct and indirect development?
Direct, there will be a larval stage where the larva is morphologically distinct.
In indirect, larva will be there or indirect?
Indirect.
Okay. Then some examples. Malavika. Which member of arthropod is known as living fossil? Two names I told. Limulus or king crab. Then some economically useful arthropods. Michael? Economically useful arthropods?
Honeybee.
Honeybee? Honeybee?
Silkworm.
Silkworm? One more. Lac insect. Okay. So we'll continue. See some of the examples. Limulus and locust. All these are the examples already mentioned. You can see limulus or king crab on the left hand side. The locust, the gregarious pest, which is highly dangerous, which can cause a lot of damage to the crops. Then again another picture of locust, then butterfly, scorpion, prawn, all these come under arthropoda. Spider, centipede, millipede, all that are examples of arthropods. Then honeybee, dragonfly, then the different types of insects, mosquitoes like Anopheles mosquito, Culex mosquito, and Aedes mosquito. The pictures you can see over here. Okay, next we are moving on to the next phylum, that is Mollusca. Clear? Mollusca is the next phylum. And some of the examples of mollusca you can see in the picture given over there. Majority of them are shelled organisms, but not all. Majority of them are having a shell covering its body. And this is considered as the second largest phylum. This is the second largest phylum. The first one, the first position goes to Arthropoda, and Mollusca is the second largest phylum in the animal kingdom. Now, habitat. They are terrestrial or aquatic. Either you can find them on land or in water bodies. So, when we say water body, it can be either fresh water or marine. Children, one of you have not muted your microphone. I can hear some other noises also. Please just mute your microphone. Still it is continuing. Who is that? Check your microphone, children. If not muted, please mute it now. Terrestrial or aquatic. Aquatic means it can be either fresh water or marine. The difference between fresh water and marine is that marine water will be, salinity will be more, it will be salty, and fresh water, salinity will be negligible. Then they are also bilaterally symmetrical. Then triploblastic, 3 germ layers. Coelomate, true body cavity, and organ system level of organization. Same as what we said for the previous phylum. I don't think you need any explanation for that. Okay, children. Now, in mollusk, the body is covered by a calcareous shell. Calcareous shell means a shell which is made of calcium carbonate. And the body can be divided into a head, then a muscular foot, and a visceral hump. Viscera means internal organs. So, the visceral hump will enclose all the internal organs. So, just like we said in the case of Arthropoda, in Arthropoda we said the body can be divided into head, thorax and abdomen. And here the body is divided into head, muscular foot and visceral hump. So once again, in mollusk, the body is covered by a calcareous shell. Calcareous means made up of calcium carbonate, and the body is divided into head, muscular foot and visceral hump. Then, covering the visceral hump, you can see in the picture, mantle, it is given in light violet color, a soft spongy layer of skin. You can find a soft spongy layer of skin, you call it as mantle, and this mantle is enclosing the visceral mass. So visceral mass is also shown. As I told you, visceral mass means the mass which encloses all the internal organs. So once again, mantle is a soft spongy layer of skin. What is its function? It forms a layer over the visceral hump. So some new terms you have learned here. One is visceral hump and the other one mantle and also calcareous shell. So once again I will repeat, its body is covered by a calcareous shell. Means majority, not all organisms are having a shell, but majority of them have got a shell which is made up of calcium carbonate. And the body can be divided into 3 parts. a muscular foot, a distinct head, and visceral hump. And then what is mantle? Mantle is a soft, spongy layer of skin which covers the visceral hump. Space between the hump and the mantle is known as mantle cavity, and you can see even feather-like gills. Feather-like gills are also found. Okay, so here, just 1 minute, you can see feather-like gills present. The space between mantle, you know, it is a soft spongy layer of skin which covers the visceral hump. Then what is mantle cavity? Cavity, the space between the visceral hump and the mantle is known as mantle cavity. So in the picture you can find mantle cavity, the space between the hump, the visceral mass, and the mantle is known as mantle cavity. And apart from that, they have gills, and gills perform other than respiration. They carry out other functions also. We learn about that. In appearance, it looks like a feather. The gill will be looking like a feather, and they carry out respiration. That is also present in the mantle cavity. So where are the gills present? The gills are present in the mantle cavity. So once again, the points we discussed, I'll repeat it again. The body is covered by a calcareous shell or a shell made of calcium carbonate, and the body can be divided into a head, muscular foot, and a visceral hump. Then there is a soft spongy layer of skin which covers the visceral hump. You call it as mantle. Then what is mantle cavity? The space between the mantle and the visceral hump is known as mantle cavity. And which organ, which is one main organ they have mentioned lying within the mantle cavity, those are gills. And in appearance, they look like feathers. And they carry out, I already told that, not only respiratory function, they perform other functions also. So they perform both respiratory and excretory functions. And the head is provided with sensory tentacles. So their head has got some sensory tentacles which will help them to sense the surroundings. And the feeding organs, so for feeding, for capturing or feeding or digesting the food, they have special structures known as radula. You can see in the figure, radula is magnified and shown. In the mouth, it's provided with a file-like rasping organ, which helps them to grind and consume the food. It looks like a file-like. So in appearance, you can see it's like a nail filer and all. You might have seen some ridges will be there. So just like a file-like rasping organ is present to carry out digestion or feeding, and you call it as radula. And reproduction. Here also, just like arthropods, these are also dioecious. Sexes are separate. Oviparous, they lay eggs, and development is indirect. Indirect development means it involves a larval stage. And some examples are pila, apple snail we say. Then pinctada, pearl oyster, from where we get the precious pearls. Then octopus, even though octopus is not having a calcareous shell covering it, it also comes under mollusca. Once again, the examples, pila, pinctada, octopus. Pinctada is a scientific name for pearl oyster. Once again, the points, gills perform both excretion and respiration, and the head is provided with sensory tentacles. Radula is a file-like rasping organ which helps them to feed. And then coming to reproduction, sexes are separate, they lay eggs, and development is indirect, involving a larval stage. Okay, children? Have you understood? Can you quickly...
Can you show the examples?
Examples. Shall I say?
Yes.
Just 1 minute. You can see some examples of pila globosa. That was one example. Steffi, Pila globosa or apple snail was one example. The next one, octopus. Then I told you about pink tada or pearl oyster. So 3 examples I listed. So many are there. Freshwater mussel, which you consume, which you eat. Kakka, we used to say, no, kakka irichi. Freshwater mussel, that also comes under this. Pila globosa, octopus. Then pink tada, freshwater mussel. All these are examples for mollusk. Okay, Steffi? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Now quickly summarize the points about mollusca. We'll start with Evelyn.
They are the second largest phyla in Animalia.
Okay. Michael, please
Terrestrial
take
or
turns and say, children. Don't wait for me to call out their names. Yes, Michael.
they're terrestrial or aquatic.
Terrestrial or aquatic. Then Vidur.
Bilaterally symmetrical.
Oh, always the easiest topics, no? Easiest points. Then you still all those. Bilaterally symmetrical. Then a few more common for different phyla. Triploblastic.
Coelomate.
And
With organ system level of organization.
next time when I ask, apart from these points, others you can say. Okay, Punya.
Most of them are soft-bodied organisms.
Soft bodied. Then Nandana. By the time Nandana gets her connectivity, are you there, Nandana? Malavika?
They have a calcareous cell.
Calcareous or made up of calcium carbonate. They have a shell made of calcium carbonate. Another point, Mona?
Gills have respiratory and
Excretory function. Good. Yes, leaf-like. Then Lydia.
It's divided into head,
Body is divided into head, muscular foot and visceral hum. Okay. Next point, Anna.
space between the hump and the mandible. There's
You call it as
mandible
mandible cavity. What is mandile then, Gayatri? What is mandile?
It's a spongy layer of skin over mantle.
Okay. Mandile? What is mandile?
A spongy layer of skin forms the mantle of the visceral hump.
Once again, without looking.
This is a spongy layer of skin formed over the hump.
Visceral hump. Okay, viscera means internal organs. It is a layer forming or covering the visceral hump. Soft skin-like structure covering the visceral mass. Then what are the points pending? All the points we said, Navin? Did we cover all the points? Then tell me.
Dioecious,
oviparous, and development is
indirect development.
And with some examples we'll wind up. Anthony disappeared. Anthony.
Organ did we say?
Examples. I want Anthony to say the examples. Are you there, Anthony? Steffi, examples.
Octopus, freshwater mussels,
Then.
and
Wait. Anthony, one example. Wait, Anthony will tell one example. Anthony, will you repeat what Steffi said? Examples. From where do we get pearls? Pearl chain. Your mother has got pearl chain. From where we get pearl? Pearl oyster. Anthony, what is that? I think some connectivity issues are there, no? Anthony, you can message me the answer. So, pearl oyster or pink tada, freshwater mussel, octopus, Pila globosa. Those are some examples. Okay, children? So, with that, we'll wind up our today's session. So, rest of the phyla we will learn in our next class. Okay? So, thank you, children.